Hey, welcome to Vlogtober day 27. It's Tuesday, which is the day that I sit and chat to you about what I've been making in the last week or so. And spoiler alert, it's not a lot. Hello, welcome to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela and all of the places you can find me should be linked in the description box below this video. I hope you're doing well this week. Welcome to my little corner of the internet where I chat about my adventures in knitting, spinning, crochet and weaving. You're all very much welcome here. We've had a few new subscribers since I last sat and chatted to you in this format. I'm doing Vlogtober at the moment, so there are videos every day, but this is my weekly chat. And yeah, welcome to anyone who is just finding the channel. You're finding it obviously at a slightly different time. Vlogtober is a bit of an anomaly. I don't post every day all the time. But I do like to chat about my fibre art adventures. So if you are new, then please do feel free to introduce yourself below. Let me know what you're making, where you're from. I love to chat to you in the comments. This week I have knitting, spinning and the world's tiniest bit of crochet to chat to you about. Let's get stuck in. I think I'll chat to you about crochet first because we haven't had a crochet segment for a few weeks. But crocheters out there, do not get excited. This is just a silly little piece of crochet that I did at the weekend, and it's not the crochet project that I said I was going to be starting. Yeah, that is still on the agenda. I'm really hoping over the next few days to be able to take some time off. This room that I'm sat in, my sort of craft attic, needs a good tidy. And I'd really like to just get started on my crochet project, maybe start warping up my new loom for a new weaving project. Just take some time to do some things that I want to do, but we'll see if that happens. Anyway, this weekend just gone by was the Knit Tea retreat. It's a lovely retreat which is usually held in person, but this year, of course, in-person events aren't allowed at the moment, so we had a virtual retreat weekend. And on Friday night and Saturday night we had sort of Zoom socials where we were just sitting and knitting and making and chatting with other lovely retreat attendees. And on Friday night I was working on a sock project, and I finished the sock, which I'll show you later. There wasn't that much of the social left to go, and I didn't want to go wandering off to find a new project. But on the desk in front of me I'd already skeined up some of the new West Yorkshire Spinners Christmas colourway. This is the Silent Night colourway, which has the sparkle in it, and I'm planning on making my mother-in-law a pair of socks for Christmas from this yarn. But I had my notions pouch nearby, which had a crochet hook in, so I thought I would just grab this yarn and make a really simple granny square. So yeah, this is the sum of my crochet. I told you not to get excited or hold your breath. But I'm thinking long term, this humble beginning could be the start of a brand new scrap project for me. At the moment I'm making a granny stripe scrappy blanket from my sock yarn leftovers, and that's a project that's been on the go for over a year for sure, and we're getting to the season where I shall be working on that again soon. I do like to have a scrap project on the go, so I'm thinking my next scrap project could be lots of little granny squares made out of my sock yarn leftovers. I really like how this has worked up, and I think it's also nice to just remind people that sock yarn is not just for socks. You can literally do anything with it, and I think a lot of yarns look really effective in just a simple granny square. So I'm going to keep this granny square aside as a little reminder that I may well start a granny square blanket once I have finished my striped blanket. It might not be for a little while yet, but it could be something that when I'm at a loss for something to do or I want a little bit of crochet, that I could just grab a mini or a leftover and whip up a square and start sort of gathering myself a little pile of these squares to join together at some point in the future. I just had a 3mm hook, I think, yeah, 3mm in my notions pouch, which I sometimes use to help me pick up stitches. So yeah, one really simple granny square is the sum total of my crochet. Probably not gonna be oh, I think you can see on camera, particularly down the bottom here, how that yarn sparkles away. I have to confess, I am not the biggest fan of sparkles for myself. I really do think it is effective in this colourway. I love the subtle silver shimmer against the blue colours. It's really lovely. So I'm hoping I may be able to get a pair of socks from this skein for me and for my mother-in-law at some point. But mother-in-laws come first, as they will be a gift at Christmas time. So yeah, that's my crochet and also an upcoming knit project, I guess. Next is spinning, and I have a new spinning project and I have finished a spinning project. So I was undertaking a fun experiment with my Ashford e-spinner, which is a new spinner that I treated myself to for my birthday this year. I've been saving up for it for quite some time, and I was finally able to splurge as a birthday treat. And the spinner comes with these giant bobbins, which are much bigger than the bobbins that I was used to on my two other wheels. I've got two second-hand wheels. One is a vintage Haldane and one is Ashford traditional. So yeah, I was really curious to see how much I could fit onto one of these bobbins, and the lovely Kathy, who is Mountain Pearl, gifted me two braids of fibre, two 100-gram braids of fibre in the same colourway. So I thought it'd be really fun to spin those up to separate bobbins and then see if I could ply them onto one bobbin. And the answer is yes, I can. As you can see, this bobbin is almost packed. I wouldn't say it's over full. There's still some room certainly at this end. But this contains pretty much the whole 200 grams. I do have a small sample here on my Niddy Noddy. And this came about because when I first started plying the yarn, I hadn't threaded up my wheel properly, which obviously was giving me some issues with tension, and I couldn't figure out what was going on till I realised that I'd missed out one of the threading my fibre through one of the side hooks. So I just wound off what I had. It's perfectly usable yarn, there's nothing wrong with it. I would imagine there's probably only a few grams there, 5 grams at the most, but probably not even that. And the rest did fit onto this bobbin. I finished plying this a couple of days ago, but I've been putting off winding it off onto my Niddy Noddy because I think it's going to be quite a long job to wind off 200 grams onto my Niddy Noddy. Certainly going to be the biggest skein that I've ever made. So yeah, I will probably bite the bullet and do that this evening, and then I can actually properly wash and set this yarn. This yarn turned out really nicely. On the outside of the skein here, you can see there's a lot of barber poling going on where the colours mixed, but further down on the bobbin there are also quite a few parts of the yarn where the colours join together. So I think it's going to be quite a fun one to knit with. I don't have a particular project in mind for this yarn yet. I love these autumn colours so very much. So yeah, it will probably ruminate in my handspun stash for a little while until the perfect project comes along. So yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you to Kathy for sending me this fibre and enabling me to have a really fun time experimenting with my wheel and my new bobbins. Thank you so much. I started a new spin on my supported spindle. This is an Enid Ashcroft spindle, which is a new spindle to me. It's a bog oak spindle. I purchased this a few weeks ago and I decided that I would start spinning on this beautiful spindle with some lovely fibre that was gifted to me by Jenny. Thank you so much, Jenny. And this is from Hilltop Cloud, and it's their Cambrian colourway, and this was one of her seasonal packs with lots of different colours in. So as you can see, I'm making my way through the first colour. It looked really dark in the bag, but when I got it out, it's this gorgeous sort of petrol-y blue. It's very much kind of oil slick kind of colours, and then there's a few patches which are a little bit lighter. So I just wanted to play with this spindle, so I just stripped a bit of this fibre off and spun it. But what I think I'm going to do, I've got two supported spindles, both from Enid Ashcroft, is I am going to weigh what's left of this and try and spin 10 grams of each fibre to each spindle, and then I can wind them off into a plying ball together to make a 2-ply. And I will continue working on this project in this way through all of the different colours in that pack. And I'm really looking forward to just taking my time with this and spending lots of time with this beautiful Welsh fibre and getting to know my new spindle, and practicing with my other. Support spindling is a new type of spinning for me. I've only done a few projects this way, but I'm really enjoying it, and the combination of this type of spinning and this beautiful fibre, I'm just really enjoying the process. Again, no particular plans for this. I just fell in love with this colourway, which was the September colourway from Hilltop Cloud, and just spinning for the joy of spinning. Finally, on to knitting. I have got one finished object and 2 works in progress to share with you, and I'm happy to report that the socks that I have been making for my mother-in-law for her birthday are finished, and just in time too. It's her birthday at the weekend, so once I've shown these to you, I shall be wrapping them up and putting them in the post. Thank goodness my mother-in-law has small feet, so these didn't really take too long at all. I don't have sock blockers in the right size to show these off to you anyway, other than this. So I used a unknown mini skein that I received in a de-stash purchase, along with a skein of Regia yarn, which again I purchased at the same time as the minis. And do I still have, yeah, I've still got the label. It's the Regia 4-ply. 6029 is the colourway. I'm not sure if it's a current colourway or if it's from an older range, but it knits up really beautiful. It's these lovely blue greys with this brick red. So my contrast mini is a bit pinker than the colour in the main colourway itself, but I think they go pretty well together. So I have done a contrast heel, toe and cuff, and I just popped in a fish lips kiss heel. Not much else to say about those really. My usual sock knitting kind of recipe, 64 stitches on a 2.25 millimetre needle, and they are ready to send off, wrap up and send off. This is kind of my entry into our Vlogtober cal, even though I can't officially enter. All this month we have been making small projects that fit with the Vlogtober autumn Halloween type theme, and mine aren't really super autumny, but I made them in Vlogtober, so these totally count for our make along. If you've been joining in with that make along, there's just a few days left now. I'll be making a prize for that. I'm going to knit a gnome from some of my hand spun yarn. So the prize won't be sent straight away because I still need to spin some yarn. I've spun half of it, but I need to spin a little bit more, and then I need to knit the gnome. They don't take too long, but the prize is not quite ready to go yet, but you still have a few days to get your entries in. If you want to enter, you can post a picture of your finished project and any craft counts in our Ravelry thread. You can post on Instagram using the hashtag YNY Vlogtobercal, and I'll put that on the screen, or you can email me a photo of your finished project, and the email address is yarnandyarns@yahoo.com, and I'll put that on the screen too. With those socks finished, I have gone back to working on the socks that I'm making for my dad for Christmas. I always like to have a pair of socks on the go, and I am making my dad's socks from a skein of West Yorkshire spinners in the Hidden Gems colourway, and this is one of the Winwick Mum colourways. And little plug for my shop, this is now back in stock on the shop, so if you like this colourway and you fancy making a pair of your own, then the link to my website is down below and you can pop over and get yourself a ball of this yarn. Last time I showed you this sock, we were here where this fabulous I Love Doctor Who progress keeper is. So as you can see, I have knit down the foot and the toe. It's a bit of an odd shape, this sock, because I'm working a 3x1 rib. I've not knit a pair of socks for my dad before. My dad loves purple, so I knew this skein would be perfect for his first pair of socks. But I try to knit a rib sock if I've not knit socks for someone before, and my dad doesn't live near me either, so I can't just pop around and get him to try these on. So I tend to find a 3x1 rib on 68 stitches, which is what I'm knitting, tends to bias a bit, so it makes a bit of an odd shape. Obviously when it's on your foot it's perfectly fine and it looks like a normal sock. It's just a bit weird when it's not on a foot or on a blocker. I've done a traditional heel flap, like a slip stitch heel flap on this sock. I did do a teeny bit of yarn management for this sock. When I went to pick up the stitches for the gusset, I don't know if you can see here, I was just on, when I did the heel turn, I was just on a white part of the yarn, and I knew that it would bug me no end. Because of the way this white stripe comes out, you get the white and then a tiny little bit of white, and I knew that it would bug me if I picked this up. So the top of the sort of heel flap is here, and if I had like one errant sort of white stripe coming around the front in the middle of the pattern, so I did cut off the yarn, wind off the white bit and rejoin it to stop that happening. So yeah, I did, like I say, tiny little bit of yarn management for that. So sock number 1 is done, and sock number 2 has just been started, so not too much progress to report on this, but this is always good in front of the TV knitting, and I've still got plenty of time before I need to send these off in December, so I'm not in a panic to finish these at all, but it's nice to have the first one off of the needles and be underway with the second. That project is living in my Frog Peak Creations bag. I have a little obsession with moose and couldn't resist this bag when I saw it in her shop. And then the final project that I have been working on this week is living in my Elderwood Craft sheep bag. This is a fairly new purchase. I love this bag so much. So beautifully made, really sturdy canvas. And in here, I've got to be a little bit careful because I know that it popped off the needles, is my test knit shawl. I'm test knitting this for Ellie of Curio Stitches, trying to find the end so it doesn't unravel too much. Oh, this doesn't really show up at all against my black. It is a sort of a chocolate brown, and I'm test knitting the Crescent Moon shawl. I am making, there's a couple of different sizes and a couple of different weights of yarn. I'm knitting the sport weight, although my yarn's slightly heavier than sport, it's more like a DK, large size shawl. And you cast on at the long end of this shawl and decrease, and it's just a swathe of lovely squishy garter, which is totally not showing up nicely in this light that we have today. It's been one of those days here in South Wales where 1 minute it's raining and the next minute it's full-blown sunshine. Right now we've got full-blown sunshine. So yes, I have got 2 stitches left on the needle. Here is my lovely progress keeper, which was another gift from Jenny, who I mentioned earlier has having gifted me the beautiful Cambrian fibre. So you can see I did a good sort of proportion of this week, but the rows have been ever decreasing, so it was fairly quick to finish in the end. My next step is to pick up the stitches down the side here and knit on a border. The deadline for this test knit is the end of November, so I'm actually going to put this away for a week or so and work on a few other things, give myself a break from this project. I've been working on the same few projects, or so it seems to me, for the last few weeks, so it'll be nice to move on to something else for a week or so, and then I'll get back to this at the beginning of November and work on it until I've finished, and hopefully it'll only take a couple of weeks. The knit on border is not huge compared to the amount of knitting that I've already done. So yeah, that's everything that I've been working on this week. So I don't feel like it's been a particularly exciting trip into my making. Mostly projects that you've seen before in various stages of progress. I've been thinking a lot about my pile of works in progress over the last few days and what my making plans might be between now and the end of the year. And I think I might have made a decision to frog a couple of my projects and to concentrate on a couple of projects to try and get them off the needles by the end of the year for our TGIF cow. So between now and the end of December, myself and the lovely Caroline of Colourful Creativity are co-hosting the Thank Goodness It's Finished, or the Thank God It's Finished cow. The aim is to get as many of your projects off of the needles, hooks, looms, spindles, spinning wheels, as you like. Embroidery totally counts, sewing totally counts. Anything that gets finished between now and the end of the year, works in progress, new projects, counts for that make along. Now that mother-in-law's birthday socks are done, they were the biggest priority. I want to try and concentrate on getting some things done for that make along. You can enter the make along in the same way as you can for the Vlogtober cow, so either on the Ravelry thread, on Instagram by using hashtag TGIFCal, or you can email your finished pictures to either myself or Caroline, and we'll put everyone in the pot for some prizes at the end of the year. I have had 2 people contact me to say they've put prizes in the post this week, so hopefully there should be some more prizes to show off next week. So when they arrive, I'll chat again about all of the prizes that are available. Before the end of Vlogtober, I think one of my videos will be a little sort of sit down and a chat and a review of my current whips and my making plans for the rest of the year. So yeah, a little spoiler of a Vlogtober episode to come. But for now, that's pretty much everything that I have to share with you. I did buy some new yarn this week, so I might just quickly show that to you in case you didn't see the vlog where I opened up the yarn. This was also Caroline's fault. She contacted me and said she's going to place an order with Rainbow Fusions, and that she wanted to get it sent to me so that I could ship it over with some things that I was sending her. Did I want to join in and order anything? And of course I did. So I picked this beautiful skein called Autumn on the Way. All these glorious autumnal colours in. And I was also really curious to try this, which is called Harbour Rainbow. It's a bamboo linen sock mix. It was classed as a vegan sock yarn. It's really quite fine. Not sure if I'm actually going to use it for socks. I think it might make a beautiful summer shawl or a cowl. So yeah, these were my sneaky purchases this week. Must not buy any more yarn. Must not buy any more yarn. Might have bought some yarn and fibre from Owl About Yarn from the Knit Tea Retreat marketplace on Sunday. Must not buy any more yarn from now on. Lots of new yarns that have come into the shop over the last couple of weeks, and I've knit a few swatches and samples with those, but I'm really eager to make some bigger projects with those too. So many projects that I want to start, but must concentrate on the Thank Goodness It's Finished cowl first. How have you been doing this week? Do let me know in the comments what your week's been like, what you've been making. I'm a little bit behind on the comments on these videos. I got a little bit behind over the retreat weekend. It was so much fun. I took some wonderful classes, one from Carrie Westerman and one from Matthew Brown, a Welsh photographer. Both were fantastic, but between joining in with all the retreat fun and keeping up with posting videos every day as well. I just got a little bit behind with answering comments, so I'm hoping that will be something I catch up on if I'm able to take some time off over the next few days. So yeah, please don't be put off. I will reply to you as soon as I'm able to. Right, I think I'm going to stop waffling, sign off, and let you carry on with your day. Until we get to spend time together again, I hope you get to do some of the things that you enjoy. Great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now. Support spindling. Thank goodness for my glasses. Nearly poked myself in the eye again. I think I've done that before. Not sure, was it with the spindle or was it with something else? I can't remember. Anyway.